Boatworks Today is a viewer-supported show. To learn more on how you can get involved and watch extended ad-free versions of these videos, please visit our website, boatworkstoday.com, and click on the top of the heading where it says Support This Show. Thank you. Hey everybody, I hope you are all having a wonderful afternoon. My name is Andy with Boatworks Today, and my project for this weekend is to get all new fiberglass laid over the entire cabin top to help stabilize the surface and start to get it ready for painting. Now, the reason for having to lay all this material is because of this. You know, there are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of these tiny, tiny little checks and cracks all over the entire surface of this deck. And the plan is to Awlgrip this entire cabin, you know, all new non-skid, and then spray all the smooth areas. And with all this cracking going on, you can't paint that. You've got to fix it first. And the only way that I know how to do it is to just lay over a whole new skin, stabilize the surface, and then you can start to move forward. Now, with the top having already been sanded, the first step, really, and as it is with almost anything, is to clean. So here I'm just vacuuming up all the dust, and then I wipe the entire surface down with, I believe I use lacquer thinner, but acetone would be just as good. Lacquer thinner just gives you a little bit more of a solvent time before it flashes off and dries. The material I'm going to be using for this is 1.5 ounce chop strand matting, or CSM, and laminating poly resin. The roll that I'm working with here is 38 inches wide. I mean, it comes in different widths, but after cutting it to length, I'm going to roll it up and not fold it. That's important. If you fold it, you're going to end up getting a kink in the glass, and when you're trying to wet it out, it is not going to want to lay down. You're going to be stuck with a little air void, you know, underneath that kink. So as you can see here, there's quite a bit of detail going on with this deck. There's a number of hatch openings, there's companionways, these little dorade scoop things that I'm carving around. That all needs to be etched out, you know, with this glass. And the nice thing about using chop strand is that you can tear it, and you're left with all these little wisps that fold up and around whatever it is you're trying to mold this glass to. Now on the edges here, there's a nice little lip where a drip edge normally mounts. So this is just an easy place to cut this and terminate it. And with that section done, now it's time to move on to a new section. Now you may be asking yourself, why did I not lay up some glass along this forward section? And the reason being is that front section has already been faired in with epoxy. And as a general rule, work with me on this one, it's not a good idea to try and lay polyester-based material over top of epoxy. Now with all the glass more or less trimmed and fit and ready to go, now it's time to start thinking about how we're going to wet this out. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to be using laminating polyester resin. And with this much area, really the easiest way to do this is with a roller. I'm using I believe it's made by Corona, not the beer, but the roller company. And it's called their Glass Coater with a K. And then for all the little detail areas like around the little lips and radiuses and stuff, now for there I am using a brush. And I'm also using that brush to kind of work out any little air bubbles. Now I'm being very generous with the amount of resin that I'm using here. This layup that we're doing on top of this cabin, this is not for strength per se. This is more or less to stabilize the surface so that we have a good foundation to start building off of and getting it ready for painting. But that said, I am still coming back and following up with a fin roller just to work out as much of the air as I can. You know, once I'm at this point where I'm rolling out resin and I've got buckets of it catalyzed, you got to work fast. You can't just sit here and take your time wetting this out. One of the little tricks that I like to do when I'm working with large areas of glass is, in order to cure all that material, I like to go over top of it with gel coat. And in this case, I'm using the Total Boat gel coat that already has the wax mixed in. By top coating with gel coat, this does a couple things to help us out. For one, gel coat is a much thicker material. So when we're rolling this out over top of the glass, what the gel coat does is it settles in all the little low spots in the texture of the glass, and it helps to make the final surface smoother faster. By filling that in, that means we're going to have to sand less to get us a smooth profile for, start getting ready for fairing. And also, because this contains wax, it will cure both the gel coat and the fiberglass beneath it. So since we only laid up one layer of glass, I want to remove as little of it as possible. So by top coating with gel coat, when we come back the following day, most of the sanding that we're going to be doing is actually on the gel coat itself and not so much the glass. I mean, there's still going to be some glass that's going to get removed, but much less than if we had just gone over this, say, with like PVA or another coat of finishing resin. As always, I want to thank you for your time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, please leave those down below. And until next time, thanks for watching. I gotta get back to work.
This has been a Boatworks Today production.